And I think it just invites in the cozy vibes, right? There's a coziness of like, hey, let's diffuse Higgy and let's diffuse, some of these other blends that just feel like warmth. I've been diffusing Harvest Spice, Vanilla Chai, and loving that combo. Cassia is great too, but some kind of cinnamon based with then a vanilla in my diffuser and loving that. So I just think it has this vibe of like coziness. It's harvest. It's
Hmm.
feels like coming into snuggling in a bit, so we love autumn.
It's so good, right?
Hmm.
I so normally I've been doing cacao drink in the morning, but yesterday I switched back to Creo Brew, and we have some Creo Brew uh, that's pumpkin spice. So I know a lot of people make fun of pumpkin spice, but listen, there's a time and a place, and so super grateful for all the feels, all the goodness fall brings, and it's harvest season.
Hmm.
So that's one thing I love. Tiffany is like the queen of the harvest, cannot be prevented, right? And so I just love harvest time. It's I don't know, there's nothing like the feeling of walking through an apple orchard and picking apples. And we have some friends here in Alpine who own apple orchards, and it's one of our annual traditions. And it's just, I don't know what it is. It just feels so right. You got the fall light streaming through those trees and the fall colors and the
Hmm.
apples. It's just feels right.
Hmm. Yes. All of those things. See, you get it. It's like you're like plugged right into the vibe, so you understand it.
Yep.
Yes, love it.
So Layla is asking for a repeat. We were talking about some of the new convention products, uh,
Okay.
and somebody was saying that they're not loving Coastal Escape, and I'm in that same camp. But and then somebody else posted, Jennifer, oh sorry, Becky said that apparently the trick there is to diffuse it rather than smelling it straight out of the bottle. So I haven't tried diffusing Coastal Escape, but that's my homework for today. So
Okay. Here we go. That is what I've heard about that too. We were literally talking about that at the Miller's last night, is that
yeah.
oil, if you just are smelling it, it's like, no, it smells a little like seaweed or something. I haven't
Uh-huh.
smelled it, so I can't weigh in. But multiple people have said, but diffusing it smells delicious. So there's
Yeah.
that.
Funny story. When Eliza, who's now 17, when she was just a toddler, like 3 or 4, um, she smelled something and she said, "Ooh, that smells like daddy's in the ocean." And I still don't know exactly what she meant, but
Yes, like what does this mean?
it could mean multiple daddies, or it could mean her daddy is in the ocean. I
Right.
don't know. It's just
Yes. Who knows?
sweet Liza.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm just excited to be here and looking at a brand new season, October, the next 90 days. My own coaching community met on Monday for a Q session and really looking at that. And then yesterday I spoke for a great group, actually next door neighbors put on their annual big restaurantology meeting and gathering, and just the energy of that, of what do we want to be creating in the season and the next 90 days, and the potency of that, just dropping in is, y'all, it's a great time, great day, great week to just do some reflection and some intentional planning of thinking about what do I want to be, create, where am I going, what do I desire. Another conversation that's been coming up for me, both with friends and with clients, is focusing on our circle of influence versus our circle of concern. And even one of our dear mutual friends and I were talking about this earlier this week, Andy, where she has a list in her notes app on her phone, quote, titled, "What Can I Control?" Same thing as what's your circle of influence? What can I control? And listing out the things from, I can take my supplements, I can pray, I can read, I can move my body, I can serve someone else, I can be open to or practicing forgiveness. I can choose to invest in people and my kids and my life. And, it's like, it just has been a really empowering thought. Is because anytime we're navigating uncertainty, which technically is all the time, it's just certain things at seasons feels more apt, right? We're more in that is coming back to our roots, right? And thinking about what is my circle of influence? What can I control? What do I want to create? You guys, that'd be a really great assignment for you, not just to hear, but to do, is to write out what can you control and what's your circle of influence? And what are the things that make deposits in your own health and wellness, deposits in your mindset? That's what I spoke on yesterday. And the potency, there's a quote I want to circle back to with mindset that I'm really loving right now. But focusing on things you can invest in your body, things you can invest in your home and your children and relationships, your communities, your kindnesses, right? So it's just being intentional, once again, back to that. But I think when we're, navigating at times in our own lives individually or things going on in the collective of what can I control and how can I show up? And I think that's a really powerful, potent thing to be intentional about, right? Being mindful about that. So anyway, those are just some initial thoughts that I'm like, I want to make sure that I share this with you. This mindset quote I want to share with you. You guys are going to love this. Is being mindful, so mindful, right? Of what's getting into your brain, what you're consuming, what you're scrolling, what you're reading or listening to, and what you're allowing. But this phrase is your input shapes your outlook. Your input shapes your outlook. I also want to give you a second version. Your input shapes your output. Meaning, of course, like what we're thinking, reading, it's going to create a vision, a thought, or reinforce thoughts. It's going to create or reinforce feelings, right? And therefore, what we're feeling will significantly influence what we take action on, right? Meaning output and how productive we are and what actions we're taking. And if we're feeling like, ooh, I'm putting into or I'm actively engaged in creating what it is that I want and my own dreams, my own vision, and taking action upon those things. So
Dang,
yeah, isn't that a juicy little gem?
that
I heard
is
Stephen
so
Harvey say
good.
something like that on a video of like your input shapes your outlook. And it's like, isn't that so
Mm,
true? Is what we're consuming or allowing into our minds and spaces is very much influencing your outlook and your output. And it's
I
so
want to make
true.
a I want to make a poster out of that one.
Yeah, that's a gem,
That's so
right?
good.
Yeah, so I just think being very intentional and having clarity about what you're allowing to influence you and what's nourishing you and where we're spending our time, right? How important that is for us. And yeah, it's just been something I've been considering thinking about. And one personal habit or personal growth habit that I think self-care habit, they're all kind of interact, it's all a little bit of both that I invite you to consider is perhaps committing to or recommitting to a morning ritual and starting your day first thing with things that nourish you, right? And things that have a more positive or intentional input, as that statement, the way we, start our day shapes our day, and committing to that.
Mhm.
Coming back to that, and it's not new. You've heard us talk about it many times, and other teachers and coaches. It's not like it's a new concept. But my invitation for you as your coach in this moment is asking you to, am I living it? Is it in place in my life? And, one of the biggest lies of our cell phones and our smartphones is the lie that it's just real quick, right? Like, I'm going to check
Mhm.
my phone just real quick versus
Mhm.
I'm going to meet and have nourishment in my day first thing. And I love, there's years ago, I heard a pastor say this statement. You want to meet with God before you meet with the world. Whether you say God, you say universe, or even neither of those, however you plug into, but starting your day with things that nourish you, that feed you, that anchor you, that help you come home to your spiritual truth, help you come home to your purpose. Man, if there's something I feel like we all need a little more of, it's more centering and anchoring. and coming back to that. So it's a couple of those thoughts, right? Is just coming back to being an intentional creator. How do I start my day? Looking at your vision. Where am I going? What am I creating? What am I experiencing? What do I choose to be about in this season? Focus on personally, focus on professionally.
Mm.
I think that's really powerful and very nourishing. I think, one thing last night, the vice presidential debate was on, and it was really refreshing. I thought both men did really well. And there was a lot more, respect, and it was insightful education. I was like, wow. And my husband and I watching that last night, and both of us being able to say, wow, that was a great point from that person and a great point from that person, and seeing, but there's a lot that's up, especially here in the States, but also globally, of what's going on, what we've been navigating as a human race with, looking at how much here, especially in the United States, we've been navigating inflation and economics and challenges with that across the board for most Americans, right? I think 2024, the conversation has been with a lot of people, is like, it's been a stretch here for a lot of people. And I think a lot of things from the previous 2 and 3 years have kind of caught up to us, and we're navigating where it's like, hey, I mean, sometimes I think I'm going to need a side hustle just to keep up with my more organic eggs. It's like those babies, quadrupled. And so, but people just navigate what we're navigating and what we're experiencing. There's a lot that's out there in the uncertainty, but choosing into, how we show up for ourselves and how we're nourishing ourselves and those things. And regardless, again, of however elections turn out, is who do you want to be and how do you want to show up and how do you want to navigate with your own life and how do you want to choose, right? Things and thoughts about that.
So good. It reminds me of what's the quote that you've shared in the past, Tiffany, about um, having um, if you want to have a millionaire lifestyle, you can't have
Oh,
something habits. Like it was, how's that
yeah.
go?
You ready for it?
Yes,
Are you all awake enough for this?
bring it.
Right? Often we have $1 million dreams and $10 self-care.
Mm,
Right. And so we have this disconnect with at times, or $10, right? And sometimes we're in this place of like, yeah, I have these big dreams, and I want you to have big dreams. Yes, have the big dreams, have the visioning, please. You need that. It inspires hope. It informs you. What I love about really clear vision and really clear goals is they inform you, and dropping into identity and changes and habits, similar to what we talked about with Marie last week and her inspiring story, and all that she's navigated with her significant weight loss of 140 pounds. We talked
hmm.
about that. But a lot of that was her changing also her identity. Who am I choosing to be and what I'm choosing to create? So sometimes in life, we have this disconnect where we have $1 million dreams, literally. Some of you, it's like you want to make millions of dollars. I love that for you. And then sometimes we have $10 self-care, or we're investing in ourselves in that way, where it's like there's a disconnect where having a really rich life and having a really rich, nourishing experience with that, of how we're showing up with our habits and how we're showing up for ourselves. Yeah, that one
So
sometimes when
good.
I got in my deck, in a talk, right? I'm sharing that with the group. It's like, oh, this one might sting a little bit, right? Because it's
Uh-huh.
like, ooh, I'm feeling that one. Yeah, so good. But I'm loving people's comments in the chat box about their morning ritual, right? Getting back into that and coming back to how you start your day and how your input shapes your outlook. Yes, I love that, right? And I think it's one of those things to have intentionality, is just get clarity. That might be a great visioning work for you today, is decide, like, think about, how does my ideal day begin?
Hmm.
See it in your mind, see it play out. Like, how do you want to feel in the morning? And what are the habits? And granted, while it won't always go to plan, because life sometimes, power goes out. You're like, oh, wait a minute, my power's out, or these things, or kids up, or something happens. But having that be more the norm than not is, how do I
Hmm.
begin my day, and get intentional about that, and thinking about, what's my ideal day look like, or my ideal morning? And we can have an ideal day that's like a Monday through Friday, so to speak, a regular life day. And then we can have, a vacation or a weekend or something like that, that maybe it looks a little different, but it is still about being intentional.
Mhm. So good. We just launched a team. Well, it's quite a ways down in our team, but um, they're these cute 20-year-olds who are just getting started in life, like so dang young. I think some of them even 18 and 19. And there's a similar disconnect, right? Where they have the big dreams, they have the huge goals, right? They're ready to just go out there and crush it. And they're just willing to send out texts for invites, you know? And you're like, okay,
Hmm.
back up the train a little bit. So like at one of their launch events, they had the lead guy sent out 43 invites by text and had one person show up.
Hmm.
They're like, okay, good learning.
Hmm.
It's awesome. Let's
Yeah.
let's get back to what works, what connects.
Hmm.
How do you motivate action?
It's so true, Andy. And I think that with that example specifically is I love you guys, the power of the personal touch,
Yeah.
right? And just like you're saying is, do I love texts and emails for reminders? Yes. And same thing with like social content and putting things out there. But we live with it. There's a lot of noise, on the internet and on our phones and things like that. Those are great tools. And so having that be something that, oh, I just heard my little alarm go off. So maybe, maybe my power is coming back on. We'll see. But do believe that the power of that personal touch and the personal reach outs, right? How important that is that you have that connection. Myself last month and launching a new coaching community and things like that. And we had a lot that was landing on email and social media and doing a free course, these things. But I also myself was reaching out in DMs and texts and phone calls and personal conversations, letting people know, hey, this is happening. And I think this would be a great fit for you. And I'd love for you to join me. And had several people from me doing my own personal reach out. So even when you have this, a larger social following, you've got a large email list, these things that I have in place, the reality is I'm still in the people business like you and like anyone else. Oh, and having the power of that and is so important. So important. So thank you for that reminder. I'm going to go check on that
Oh,
alarm and
sure.
just turn it off just so I don't have
You're
to hear
great.
that. So I'll be right back.
Okay. Such good sharing. Well, we'd love to field any questions that you've got. We're here to coach and support any way we can. So go ahead and raise your hand if you're on Zoom, and we'll bring you on live so we can continue the conversation, but in a more personal way. So we've got lots of people on today, really great group. So just raise your hand in Zoom, and that'll be our sign to take the conversation further. Okay. We've got a question in the comments. Joan says, if you put your QR code um, on your business card, where do you have it land? I assume you mean where do you point the URL to a main doTERRA page. I know we have a link tied to our account, but I think there's also a way to get as a QR code, a blank order shopping cart page that has the free membership, the no products. So for those of you who have promoted a website, are you using the default self-replicating page that you get from doTERRA? Like ours is, I think it's like doTERRA.com/light or something like that. Like, is that the URL that you're promoting, or have you guys built your own pages? I'd love to hear what's working for you. It's a great question. All right. And Dr. Haslam's raising his hand. So we'll invite him to come on. All right, somebody has posted.
All right, okay, here, I've got it. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was on mute. Okay, let me see if I get my camera on. All right, there you go.
Good morning, Daryl. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Great, thanks.
Good. Hey, I've got a question that came up at convention. I know they were really highlighting Aroma Touch, and I didn't get to see Dr. Hill's demonstration of that, but I was curious about that. Got me thinking with that versus Symphony of the Cells. I know you and Natalie are really up on that as well. And so I brought a question about those two approaches and when you'd use one versus the other and what the benefits are from one to the other.
That's a great question. We have team members who just swear by the Aroma Touch. It is their, like Brooke Magleby, for example. We also saw her last night, and just an amazing leader on our team and so powerful. And yeah, she's built a ton of her business on Aroma Touch. So you've got people in that camp, and then we've also got the Bibies who are here in town, and they have just had life-changing experiences with Symphony of Cells. Seth Risme is in that same camp. So yeah, there's no right or wrong answer. The thing that we've found with Aroma Touch is it feels like kind of a one size fits all, and so it's harder for people to connect to in terms of the end, the receiver's experience. They kind of feel like you've got one thing that's meant to fix everything. The beautiful thing about Symphony of Cells is you're looking up specific things and tailoring the oils that you're using to their specific needs. So
Very targeted.
yeah, it's very targeted. So the end user feels a lot more cared for in our experience. And man, Boyd Truman, if you've, I don't know if you've been to a Symphony of Cells training, but Boyd and Sandy.
I've been to Taken's McIntyre. She did, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. But to hear Boyd talk about how the Symphony of Cells came about and how much it served him and his family, him and his teams, absolutely inspiring. So yeah, there's no right or wrong answer. We've just found that the tailored solutions land in a much more powerful way.
So there's not necessarily a functional difference where you Aroma Touch for this or Symphony of Cells for this. They're both beneficial in kind of their own ways, kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I guess since I'm more in the Symphony of Cells camp, I love to look at, pull up in the manual and look up what someone's working on and give a targeted solution. But Aroma Touch is amazing too. So Layla's asking if there's a link to learn more about Symphony of Cells. I always just Google it. So it looks like it's symphonyofthecells.com.
And there's a manual I think you get in an app too, isn't there? You can have all the protocols in there.
I know there is a manual. I didn't know about the app.
I don't know for sure about the app. I think there was, but don't quote me 100% on that.
That's awesome. Yeah. But I'd love to hear other people's experience. Have you found, that there is a better time and place for one over the other? Great question.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Candace is raising her hand, so maybe she's got a thing or two to share on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have some comments coming through about links. So if you're putting a link or a QR code on your business card, what they're linking to. So go ahead and read that in your comments in the chat. Hi, Candace.
Hi, so happy to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you. So I did put in the chat the Empower app because I've been doing a lot of vending lately. And so what I'll do is I have two phones. So I'll have one of my phones on a display that'll have my digital business card. And for people who aren't into that technology, then I have physical business cards that'll have the QR code. Now the Empower app is magical because what it does is it allows you to take your doTERRA information, plug it into the Empower app, and then so when people scan your card, you get their contact information, and it shows you like all cool things about how to use essential oils, like the top 5 topics or something like that on like, about it. It's just a cool app. So I would highly encourage that. And then I love Aroma Touch.
So
I'm a big fan.
before we move on to
Yeah,
Aroma Touch,
yeah.
if people want to learn more about this empowered app, how do they find it?
I can put the link in the chat. I'll put the link in the chat.
Oh, so you're going to. I thought you said you already did. Okay,
You know,
perfect.
I'm gonna put the link in the chat for Empower.
Is that the app that Kyle Kirschbaum worked on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's so organized. It just makes communicating so much more effective, and it's like everything in one place. Like all the training you would need, everything that you would need, it's like all there.
And the thing I've heard that people love about it is as you're putting your contacts in, it will prioritize your contacts based on how much action they're taking. So you
Yep,
know which are your hot leads, which are your warm, and which are your cold leads, which
that's
is
so true.
really, really useful, right?
Yeah, I actually got a sell from being just consistent when using the app
Mm.
and correlating that in with how I interact on social media. It's been a life changer. But the number one thing, and I know that we speak about this all the time, is routines. So I've been doing this accountability program with Elise, and the first thing that we talk about before we even do anything else about business is your routine and your self-care. And so I would just, second that. But the reason why I asked to come on is to touch base on the aromatherapy technique. I definitely want to learn Symphony of the Cells, but my heart is definitely with aromatherapy technique. And so what I do to make it more tailored to my client is we do the assessment first, and then I'll go over the assessment with them. And I might give a little extra touch to like if they have like knee pain, I might just like kind of just rub some marjoram or something like over their knee. And then I'll go into the aromatherapy technique session itself. But that's what I typically do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's
But
great.
that's all I have.
That's great. Yeah, that's powerful. Symphony of Cells, like if we can invite Seth onto this call, he could literally spend all day telling the most incredible stories. You know, when he talked at convention about Ministry of Healing, so many of those miraculous healings have come like directly from Symphony of Cells. So
I'm looking forward to doing that one. I think it would be a great add-in.
yeah.
And I definitely feel like I'll pivot. I'm gonna use my business for aromatherapy technique, so I would love to add that in. And then lastly, to say, I've been like just coming like these calls that you guys do, like really, and I know I'm not the only one, but they do something psychologically for me, where I'm just getting like all these ideas of like what I want to do next. And I just really appreciate you guys. And so like now that I know like my focus, I'm like, I'm looking for 5 people who want to learn aromatherapy technique, because that's 250 points right there just from them getting the kit and the training. So I'm just like super excited. So thank you guys so much. And I'm done.
Oh, thank you so much for jumping on. It's so good to hear your experience. And
Yes, Candace, thank you.
yeah,
You're welcome.
I think either of these, right? They're huge value adds. So if you feel more drawn to Aroma Touch, run with that. If you feel more drawn to Symphony of Cells, run with that. They both are leading people towards greater wellness. Like sometimes when people ask me and they'll say, like it's top of mind because it's right here on my desk, people will say, what's the best planner to use? Right? Like of all the options, and mine just showed up for 2025. Like, look at this baby, right? But the point being is I'll say the planner that you'll actually use is the best planner. And so meaning a little bit of a stretch, but the same bridge is if you're like, oh, Symphony of Cells or Aroma Touch, they have some differences, but they're also moving people in the same direction of greater wellness and health. And so I think that's so powerful. And if you're ready to be like, gosh, I really know one well, and I don't know the other as well, maybe that in this season is the thing that you focus on becoming more educated about. But the one that you're actually going to use and promote, what we care about, y'all, and what's going to move the needle for you is that you decide and go, right? Versus like, oh, I need to figure, it's if you're utilizing that, especially to attract and grow your customer base, grow your leadership base, it's a great tool of how people become converted because they can see and feel a significant difference
Mm-hmm.
when they've had either, treatment, aroma touch, or something of the going after it. And I think that's
Yeah,
what's going to really move the needle.
totally. Okay, Sherry just raised her hand. Hello, friend.
Hi, how's it going, everybody?
So
Happy to
good.
be on this. Okay, I'm trying to find my body systems chart, and this is the old one, but I know they have a new one, and I gotta get the app, but I'm a little nervous about apps, Andy, you know that. But Symphony of the Cells, Aroma Tools, you're right. You can't go wrong, but I have to show you this body systems chart. All of the chiropractors and doctors need this. From the Symphony of the Cells, they have this like amazing chart that goes body system by body system in the aroma, or excuse me, in the Symphony of the Cell stuff. So in addition to the targeted essential oil application, they also have the body systems, digestive, hemolytic, endocrine. What are you trying to do? And I have to tell you, just one story, and it'll be a 2-second quick share from one of my midwifery friends whose kids are seizure prone. And she started using essential oils and then slipped over into Symphony of the Cells. And it has changed their life. And I'm going to show a picture of this. This is, I don't know if I can turn my phone around. I should have my glasses on. But this is such a good, can you guys see that at all? This is my friend Mariah's little girl, like before having her seizures to now, right? And this is a couple of years old. But it has just been a lifeline for them. So when I was listening to you guys, I just had to say that Symphony of the Cells has got it going on. And there's just, you can start with your basic and then get creative and be like, oh, I know that I'm going to add lavender to this to get my rest and relax. And talk about the flexibility. You can go body systems. I'm going to work on my digestion and add that to my basic protocol. And all you chiropractors and coaches and specialists out there, it's just such an easy, quick thing you can pick up. And then for everybody trying to figure presentations out, you can just pick up this amazing guide. I don't even, body systems guide. I think that's what they call it. And be like, what are we focusing on today? And body systems guide, and go just from that to create. So I just had to jump in because no one else had said it, and I was kind of following the chat, but not that well. So anyway, I hope that's helpful.
That's so good. Thank you so much for sharing. I know that you've empowered so many people, and my family has been the beneficiary of your healing gifts. So thank you so much, Sherry.
Love you.
You too. So some people were asking, how do I learn more about Symphony of Cells? I just hopped on YouTube and just searched up Symphony of the Cells, and I'd share the link for how to do the Symphony of Cells. Like Sherry said, it is so simple. It's very similar to the aroma touch technique in that you just apply oils down the back, rub them in. I like to add heat after you're done with the process. You know, rub the extra oils on the feet. Like it's literally that simple. It's so, so good.
I'm still on, and I have something else to say if you can still hear
Sure.
me.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about the ways to add heat really quick,
Okay.
because it's super powerful. Always using heat and cold was something that as a midwife I love to use, like, and specific areas of the body. When you're in labor, this feels great to have nice and cool, and this feels great to have nice and warm. Okay. But we got really good at making really quick hot packs. And you guys, a wet washcloth, or even like a towel in a Ziploc baggie, microwaved really quick, can make you a beautiful hot pack that stays warm for several minutes, at least 20 or 30 minutes. And
Yep.
using that is great, but also, people can just go get in the tub or the shower after having these applications, or jump in their own hot tub or personal sauna, whatever their ability is. But I just want to amen and hallelujah to the hot pack, Andy, and all the simple ways you can make those rice bags, and bean bags. All of those are great, but
Totally.
just a hot washcloth in a Ziploc bag, you can make a smaller, large heating pack.
So true. We've even been on like doTERRA trips before where somebody needed a symphony of cells. And so even we'll just take like a hand towel, run it under really hot water, and then put that on their back, and then maybe put even like a trash bag over the top of it, and then maybe a blanket on top of that. It just holds the heat in, and it's so nice. Like, you can't even believe how often people just fall asleep because it's so soothing and comforting.
When I'm with the Amish, I use this technique and talk to them a lot. And one of my, there's 2 or 3 favorite wins I'll tell you about. One of them was going to the Amish. They eat so much sugar, and having this one lady feed me cookies that were made with no sugar. And I was like, you guys are great. But the
I love
next
it.
win was watching these young girls, these teenage girls, get out buckets and put hot water in them, put the essential oils on their feet that from the Symphony of the South list, and then putting their feet in the buckets of hot water. So
Wow.
sweet. So sweet. Big
That's
win.
amazing. So powerful. Well, thank you so much for all of your amazing shares, Sherry. You're aptly named. Okay, somebody is asking if somebody's just had back surgery, can you still do Symphony of Cells or Aroma Touch or other oils? So Tiffany, I know you have a dear one who just went through a back surgery. Were you guys able to use oils?
So yes, however, so his back surgery, which is interesting, they did a disc replacement, but they went in from the front. So it was like a vertical little C-section, move your guts over, and then implant this disc in between his 2 vertebrae. And so we could put oils on his physical, right? Any incisions and things like that. Oh, I think I have power on. There we go. Yay.
Yay.
But so again, I wouldn't say something to, I don't know, Andy, if you or others want to weigh in on that, but we were definitely putting oils on his body and feet and his back, but his actual incision, we were mindful of that. However, once he got out of the, initial incision, right? Once it was frankincense and Immortelle. I think Natalie recommended that to us, that Immortelle, the roller and things like that. So we definitely have used that on his scar, but yeah, great tools. Yeah,
So
Molly,
great.
I've done them over surgery. I did them over her C-section. So my husband, basically had a little mini C-section vertically, right? And it was like, here we go. But he, and because most back doctors in the US do fusions versus an artificial disc replacement, they've started doing more of those in the United States, but they've done a few hundred versus multiple thousands of them over. This back doctor and clinic is just very world renowned. And a little ironic note is the disc that's in my husband's back, because it's the most advanced technology. It's actually made in Germany, but it's not approved yet to be used in the United States, right?
So funny.
So, but he's completely pain-free. He was in back pain for 25 years. He had two vertebrae right on top of each other.
Mm,
And he tried various things over the years. And he was like, okay, I'm ready to be fused. And his neurosurgeon, his back surgeon said, I think you'd be a great candidate for this, but if you're going to do it, go to Germany. But the point being, yes, we did use oils with him on his back and on his scar, and helping him with his wellness with that.
hmm So powerful. Yeah. So yeah, with surgery, you do want to be mindful of what's in or around. So for example, my dad, he had bladder cancer, and he had his bladder removed. So now he has, I forgot what it's called, one of those bags on the outside. So you have to be really mindful about what you put around an incision. But absolutely, you can still do stuff. I mean, Tiffany, you were there when Max had his accident, and
yeah.
we only had access to his feet,
Mhm.
and we still had miracles happen based on the oils that we put on his feet, because your feet are like straws, right? Like you put oils on your feet, and within 30 seconds, it's in your whole body. So don't feel limited if you can't have access to certain parts of people's bodies. It's yeah. Don't be shy with the
Yeah,
feet.
so true. And I remember even we would put the oils on our hands and just kind of cup them
hmm
over his face,
hmm
and on his feet, and ways that we were influencing that for sure. So
Yeah,
powerful
so
regularly. And
true.
these products too, right? Like just thankful for it's like, oh, frankincense and balance and Douglas fir and lavender and digestin. It's like peppermint oil, just all the various oils that we use on a regular basis. And
hmm
again, the supplements too, but how powerful they are for all of our healing.
So true. Yep.
So good.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions they'd like to come on with? Any okay, Sally's asking, who's the best contact person for UpLevel21? I have a question about the app and the teams. So I know that Chelsea is in charge of that, but I don't know if she wants me putting her cell number out to the whole world. So how about you go ahead and send me a message, Sally, and then I'll put you in touch with her. So my email is andy@sharesuccess.com. So I'll put that in the chat. And yeah, Chelsea is with an I. So Chelsea Wood is her name if you want to look for her on the socials. Yeah, okay. Yep, that's right. Chelsea with an I. Angelique is saying, I had a doctor tell me to be careful not to use too many oils at a time. Can be harmful to the liver. Please advise. As a general rule, oils are so potent and so powerful. And so some people think, this is like water, where you can almost never get too much. But the oils are so potent, it really only takes a couple drops. And so we like to start easy and ease into it. But yeah, the key is consistency, right? The key is like if somebody feels a cold coming on, I'm going to be hitting it like literally every hour on the hour. If somebody has shoulder pain, I'm going to be hitting that like once every couple hours, like it's just just like the habits we talk about every day. It's not about having one massive workout for the year. It's about consistency.
Mhm. And I think too, specifically we want to be more mindful of are the oils we're ingesting, right?
Yeah.
That you're taking internally. Some, of course, we don't take internally, some you
Yeah.
do. But to Andy's point, like a little does go a long way. And
Yeah.
so be mindful of that. That's a good reminder for me because I can be a little top heavy. But usually that's just in my diffuser. I'm like, it's not necessarily on my body heavy, but it's like the diffuser. I'm like, come on, let's just put the
Yeah.
whole house in this amazing aroma.
Amen. We have a friend who actually, he is so in love with the On Guard Plus capsules. And when he feels something coming on, he'll literally go through a bottle a day.
Oh my God, buddy.
And he doesn't swallow them,
Yeah.
he chews them.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have
Does not. Okay. Wow. That's next level.
like 3 or 4 in the mouth, chomp, chomp. I mean, there's oregano in there, there's On Guard. He is next level.
Yeah.
Okay, so Daryl is asking, what is UpLevel21? So let me go ahead and share the screen. UpLevel21, we saw the need for people to have a little more accountability in terms of creating good habits. And so we created this challenge. It's a 21-day challenge where people are focusing on, getting in the habit of supplementation, the habit of using MetaPower, and other habits like moving their body, drinking enough water, getting enough rest. And so it starts the first of each month. It runs for 21 days, and there are prizes. So we give away $1,500 each month to the top team. Whoa. And we give away $250 to individual winners each week. So it's just a really fun way. You can do it individually and sign up, and then you'll be assigned to a team. Or the way to save money is to join as a team. So you go out, find 4 people you want to do it with, and then you sign up as their coach. You don't have to do anything fancy to be a coach. It's just literally you're the one who brought 4 people, and then that's your team that competes as a team. So everyone knows that we all do better with accountability. I mean, this is why we go to a university to get a college degree. We could learn all this stuff from books, but the fact is we probably wouldn't if we didn't sign up for a degree. Same thing with jobs. We tend to do better if we have a boss. And so in network marketing, we don't have a boss. Once we're a legal adult, we don't have a mom telling us to take our vitamins. And so UpLevel21 is offering to be your mom.
Offering some support. But it's so powerful, you guys, because there's 3 key things that are shaping your success at any time. And that is your mindset, your habits, and your environment.
Mm-hmm.
And environments, plural, because there's multiple environments. And to put yourself intentionally in an environment like that, where there's support, there's focus, there's tools, it's a great way to do an up level, to do a start, to do like and with others, a great way for such a low cost to get involved, and that others can have the experience in a short amount of time of seeing how powerful it is. So yes, all the details, you guys, it's UpLevel21.com. So if you need that or want to get signed up or learn more information, feel free to get connected. But I love that you've created that, Andy, because again, it's such a potent environment where you're practicing mindset and habits within an environment, right? You're doing all 3 of those. Mindset, habits, and environments are what shape us just significantly and will shape us now and in the future.
Yeah. So people who have gone through UpLevel21 loved it so much, they said, well, is there a way that I can keep up leveling, right? Like keep going even next level. And so for those people, we created another challenge, which is called MetaPower 45. And it's basically adding just a few more products. And so this one is really focused on metabolism and blood sugar. It does cost a little bit more, but the number of transformational stories we're getting from this challenge are unbelievable. So if you've been through UpLevel21 and you want to go even higher and like more accountability and more products, MetaPower 45 is a great next challenge for you.
So cool. Do we not just love Andy Goddard? Can we just give Andy Goddard some love? Him and his wife and their team and how much they create. Because see, those two things are just extras that they create in their own time and set up for you. Those
Well,
kinds
and
of
I,
scripts.
just to be transparent, I didn't do anything on MetaPower 45. This is where Chelsea and her team just took and ran with it. So I don't want to try to take any credit there. She has a fantastic team and they're doing
Hey,
amazing.
Chelsea, we love you.
Way to go,
And
Chelsea.
you helped create the initial one. So we're just still
Yeah.
going to love on Andy Goddard because that's
Oh,
amazing, that UpLevel21. And then now they've taken it to even a next level. So cool.
thank
Great
you.
resources.
Well, thank you, Tiffany, for being with us today and inspiring us to continue to up level, especially in our mindset. That's where it all starts, and that's where it counts the most. So, such a gift.
Well, love being with you guys. Happy October, everyone, and happy Q4. Cheering for you and all that you're working on or creating or choosing to. Always a joy to be with you guys.
Amen. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.